This is basically just an update on what happened with the TC35. So the TC35 was a cool gun. Definitely cool for blasting cans and stuff at 50 yards. Oh my. It wasn't as accurate as I had hoped it would be. Now the owner of the gun that I reviewed there suggested that it could be hold sensitive, which is basically when a gun kicks. Well, I'll explain it in a second here, but basically if you use the artillery hold, could you get better groups was the question. So I tried it. Here was the result. How's it going, guys? I'm here with the TC35 today, which is a 357. I guess you would say it's a hunting rifle.
This elephant was in so much pain, he walked right up to doctors to ask for first aid. Named Pretty Boy, this targeted elephant was shot in the head. You could see the hole right in the center of his forehead. The elephant was then tranquilized and given an x-ray. Vets believe Pretty Boy was hit centimeters too high for what's called a kill shot by a hunter. The gentle and relaxed animal let doctors in Zimbabwe examine him. Doctors removed the bullet. This is what he looked like post-operation. He was so tired, he fell asleep against a tree with quite the headache.
Gets between 10 and 40 shots. You can use it on high power or low power, but right now, I'm gonna find something out. We're gonna sight this baby in. I got some of my favorite sight-in doodads right there. We're gonna throw this baby down at 35 yards, and we're gonna see if this gun is hold sensitive. So what that means is, let's say you wanna use an artillery hold, because this gun has a little bit of kick. And so let me explain what's going on with that. Basically, when you're holding the rifle tight, trying to have your crosshairs on the target after you hit it, all that stuff, you're basically, let's say at the end of the rifle right there, that's fixed against your shoulder. So you're holding that still, that's a fixed point. So if the gun recoils, the front of this barrel has to go somewhere. If it's fixed back there, then it's gonna go like this, it's gonna go like this, it's gonna go somewhere. So when you pull that trigger, if you have an artillery hold where you kind of hold it a little bit loosely, then you can allow that thing to travel straight back or just the same place every time. If you hold it the same, then maybe every time you shoot it, it's gonna pop a little bit left like that, and you'll be hitting the target every time. That's what people do with spring guns. Or if you can get it just right, maybe it's gonna shoot just straight back. Basically, holding the gun loosely, seeing if we can get some better accuracy is what we're about to do. By the way, there's absolutely no wind today. How you doing, Bugaboo? I'm doing great! He's always in a good mood. I'm shooting 357s, so I want to be sure and have a good backstop. I got my steel right here. I'm going to shoot straight at this, put my box on top of there. Definitely won't be shooting those because it would destroy them. So that's 35 yards. Right down here is 50 yards. I'm going to set up the sawhorses. Maybe even 100 yard, but I'm not going to promise anything. See how this thing does. By the way, guys, this is the rangefinder that I've been using for the last couple years. So it's only $89, $99. There's a link in the description where you can get it off Amazon or eBay. And if you click through that link, I'll get a small percentage. So that'd be cool. The other thing I use that people used to always ask me about is this Caldwell Stinger right here. I got this thing brand new, and you can see it's been through a little bit. I've been shooting guns off it for at least a couple years, and it works for assault rifle style guns, as well as traditional guns with wood stocks. And the cool thing about it is you can dial that up and down. That's also about the same price, $89, $99. The best rifle rest I know of. So there's a link for that one too. Next time you buy on Amazon, whatever you buy, you can click through the Amazon link on one of my videos and I'll get like 4% or something like that. So just take some readings. There's my orange bucket right there. It's going to be our 35-yard mark. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sight my gun in, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to try holding the gun as tight as I can, and then holding it loosely. So we know from the first video what happens when I hold the gun tight. It doesn't have the best groups, and so I'm just going to go ahead and try to sight this thing in holding it loose. I'm at 220 bar. We're using standard JSB pellets. Nice. All right, so that was holding it loosely, already doing better. That one flew back quite a bit. Got to hold on to the gun a little bit. That one was me. I had some problems with the trigger there. Couldn't tell if I had cocked the gun or not. Alright, so this is one of the things that I don't like about this gun. If you're not being careful and you get the pellet not in the channel, then it ends up in there and you got to get a tool to get it out. So it happened to me a few times. Alright, I just can't get used to holding the gun loosely. Let me just make a hole right here. Alright, that'll be my aim point. I'm going to try this for a few more shots, see what happens here. Alright guys, out of, what was that, 7 shots? A lot of them went through there, but I didn't have much luck with the artillery hold. I think it did shoot a little bit better, but it didn't turn it into a precision shooter or anything, at least not for me. So that's not too bad though.
Want to know what sucks? This. She spotted the deer on her farm in Rockaway Township, New Jersey, back on November 1st.
I looked out and I did the old double take.
It didn't take her long to call wildlife officials for help. Fish and wildlife officers staked out the property for a few days, and finally a sharpshooter perched on Susan's second floor nailed the deer with a tranquilizer.
They carefully unscrewed the point of the arrow,
then pulled out the shaft and gave little Steve antibiotics. By the time he staggered to his feet about an hour later, the prognosis was excellent if another hunter doesn't get him. So I'm all for hunting, you know, squirrels,
deer, whatever, as long as you can hit where you're supposed to be aiming. So that's why this gun is marketed towards hunters, I believe, and I don't really think that, especially at 100 yards or something, it would be accurate enough to get a good kill shot, and you could end up just injuring, you know, a deer or something.
An arrow isn't slowing down this deer. He jumps fences, outruns game wardens, moving so quickly they couldn't dart him.
It looks like it's in pretty good shape.
Fish and Wildlife plans to monitor the animal
And see if they can try to immobilize it and maybe remove the arrow.
I did come across a really cool post on Airgun Warriors. This guy's actually my buddy. He's the one that sent me the Nova Freedom that I reviewed maybe a couple years ago. And also he made my pellet trap that I shoot all the time. He's really good at taking guns apart, putting them back together, making them more accurate, especially cheaper ones. He ended up picking up one of these TC-35s locally that was used and changing out the barrel, doing some other things to accurize it, and he was able to squeeze some better accuracy out of it. So if you do really like the TC-35, you still think you might want to get one, go ahead and check out this thread on Airgun Warriors. There's a link in the description. You can find out what the TC-35 is really capable of as far as accuracy. I want to thank Rob again for sending this gun out to me. If you want to find out more about the TC-35, go ahead and watch the first video I did on it. It's a detailed review. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We got some great guns coming up, including the Hubin 2. So go ahead, subscribe, stay tuned for more great videos. We'll catch you on the next one.